Good evening, everyone. This is Henry Gamble with SimplerOptions.com, and in tonight's free video, I wanted to take a look at Zillow. So, the example that I'm going to be going over with you today is basically just showing you how you can take basic technical analysis, look for instances where it has a confluence with the Voodoo Lines study set, which is something that John and I and pretty much the entire team really relies on, and set up options trades around it. So as we're looking at this trade, a couple of things that I like to keep in the back of my mind is that when you have a squeeze in play, these are the types of signals that can drive bigger than expected earnings moves. By no means is it guaranteed. There will be times where you have a squeeze in play, you get through earnings, and it's a muted response, but it's at least a signal that's giving you a heads up that, hey, this might be a big move, and I take that into consideration when I start to set up my options trades. Where I'm talking about having confluences of this study set with your fib work. The two things that you can look at in these, and it's an interesting example to follow both sets, but when you take a swing low to a swing high, notice how the 1272 extension lands you very close to the 95. This also is right next to 9440 of the current stat. It's a snow line, which is a little bit more important part of the study set. I love that confluence, but then also what's interesting is if you take this swing to high, or this high to low rather, which is what you would take if you were looking for a bullish outlook for this setup, if you were to take that, well then your 1272 would have a very close confluence here. So if you wanted to try to play both sides of the earnings idea that I'm about to share, you could do that and have nice confluences between these studies. What helped me stick to a single side of this trade is that when you come over to some larger time frames, and then in this case I was looking at it on the weekly charts, but notice how when this chart breaks symmetry that you want to start shorting the retracements back into those moving averages. That's a fancy way of saying this trend is bearish, it has shifted, and I'm only going to focus on playing it to the downside. If we take a look at the after hours session, you'll notice the stock is trading right down into 95. And then the way that we've structured this trade takes advantage of that by playing a butterfly. So what you do is you sell a put option exactly where you find your voodoo line and your extension of that move. In this case we're playing it to the downside because of the trend and what we just covered. Then I break a wing which sets this up so that if it just continues to plummet to the downside, what would be the wider put debit spread it is wider than what would be the put credit spread side, and then that will help me make money all the way down. If it pins at the area where we found those extensions in the support, then that's great, it'll be even more profitable, but it saves me in a situation where the underlying keeps moving lower. So I hope that helps, shows you guys a couple ways to use the Voodoo Line study set. At the end of this video there will be a page where you can find out more about them if you're interested in them. And then we will see you guys at the next free video.